Sometimes you are putting one command, you are trying, things are not just working. But once you upgrade and you get the latest version of that specific service, everything just works. And all right. So these are powerful commands, but the update you would need regularly. Whenever you want to install a new service on a Linux system, you form the habit of, first of all, updating. Otherwise, you might run into it. All right. So what is the command now to find out what the repository is like? The command is repository manager RPM minus query of QA. So this is the command to give you, right? So that was a long list, right? Remember your more or less, all right? So you could like the equivalent of scrolling arrow down, or page by page. You could do more. That's page by page, but don't even worry about that. Let's just say word counts. Remember WC? So it tells you that there are 453 lines like this that is displayed on the repository. So this is a service running in the background of Linux as a daemon. This is another service. This is another package. That is another one. All together, we have 453 of them on this particular system. It's not unusual to have up to 1,000 and more, depending on how many services you are running on the system. The more, remember I told you, it's almost unlimited, the number of services you can run. So the more you install services, and the older this system is, the more it's likely that this figure goes up, right? So this is the repository manager querying your entire repository and saying, what do I have here? If you wanted to find out if you have a particular service installed on this system, for example, I want to find out, is this system okay, let's do NTP. Is this system an NTP server? In other words, is the NTP service or package, better called service, package, is it installed on this system and running? The command will be query the entire repository and tell me, remember grep, if the system NTP is running. And then press enter. It tells you no, the command is good, but it's not running. Okay, is this server a web server? How do I find out? Check the entire repository, arrow repository manager minus QA, then grep for what? Grep for the service, the package that makes a system a web server, at least at this level, is called HTTPD daemon. It runs in the background. So to find out if this system is if this Linux engine has been installed with a web server and a web service, for example, HTTPD, and therefore it's a web server, this is the command. If I press enter now, if I press enter now, nothing returns. So it means that no, it is not there. It's not a web server. Is this an FTP server? And so on and so forth. There are many. There are thousands of them. All right. So now that we have found out that this is neither, okay, let's start with NTP. We found out that this is not an NTP server. To make this system an NTP server, all we need to do is install and configure the NTP package. Right? Now let's do that. So let's install. I already found out. Okay, let's find out again if NTP is already there so that we don't just go repeating what we already have. The command is repository manager minus QA. Grep. If I don't grep, it will show me a lot of over 400 lists of services. I really want the specific one that I'm looking for. So I filter. Command to filter is grep for NTP. Right? That tells me that it's not already installed, because if it was installed, I will see it. All right. Now let's install the first service just to learn how services work, or the first package. In cloud, they are called services. In Linux, it's called package. Yes. All right. So let us do it. Now that we know that it's not installed, the command to always install is the same thing. All of the packages you'll be installing, and you'll be installing a lot of packages. All of them is always your install. Then the name of the package. Job install. If we were not operating as root, then we'll be doing sudo job install. All right. So since we're operating as root, job install, in this case, this package NTP. So we'll say job install NTP. All right. And then we'll say press enter, and that's it. And then because we didn't say tick yes for, whenever this question comes up, we now have to manually supply Y for it. All right. So what does it say?
Succeed.
All right. Running transaction, installing that, verify that. So your NTP is now installed, and that is the installed NTP. All right. So if you now do query one more time, if you do query, we're going to see that NTP is now installed. It's giving you result. All right. Now that your NTP is installed, the next thing you want to do that you should, this is the template for installation. The next thing that should follow after you install is to look for the configuration file. For every service, there is a configuration file. That's where your work actually starts. There is a configuration file for every service. So in the case of NTP, let us look for the configuration file and see if it's necessary to configure it, to edit it, all right? You remember that configuration files for Linux OS are saved in a particular directory? What's the name of that directory? Etc. Yeah. So this is where to go. That's where to go. I'm looking for a configuration file for this service. So the place to go is cd etc. This is where I'll find it. If I do ls -la, I'm going to find a long list. So filtering will be easier, right? And because it's a configuration file, the configuration file usually would end with conf.conf. Yeah, the files end with .conf. So what file am I looking for here? I'm not sure, to be honest. Well, I do know, but for you are not sure. So why don't you just do something like ls -la? But another form of switch instead of la would be ltr. It means give me the timing of the service in reverse order. In other words, instead of me scrolling up and down looking for what I just added, what I just installed, it will naturally come to me at the bottom. So I will not have to be looking up and down. So that's the meaning of TR, right? Basically saying the last entry. The last entry should be at the bottom of the list, so I don't have to be scrolling up and down. Yeah. All right. So that's only a switch. So this time I'm going to say, give me, you know the meaning of this? Your white card. Star means everything, all names. Give me all files that end with config. For example, let's see config. Right. So let's see. Okay, that's not working. .conf. Let's try conf. All right, conf work. So this is essentially saying, and that's the result. Give me all files that end with the extension conf. So that's the meaning of star. Anywhere you see star as a white card, it gives me everything ending with extension conf. All right. So this. So if you want, you can manually search, but that's not efficient. You just want to get the file right away. If we manually search, do we see NTF? What are we looking for? The configuration file for NTP. Anything like that? Okay.
Yes.
Did you see it?
Yes.
But if you were not observant,
I think if we take out the fee or conf, is gonna give us the NTP at the bottom.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. So let's say now this is a list of 100 and you can't keep looking manually, which is not efficient anyway. I'm just doing this to show you that so specifically for NTP, you are going to say, give me the list